Hey, everybody, how you doing? Oof. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Postgame, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I am your director of whatever tonight. Joining me live in the Xfinity studio, it is Broad Street Hockey's own Kelly Hinkle. Charlie O'Connor will be on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line at some point or another. We hope he stays on side, Kelly Hinkle. I guess
notorious for not being able to tell which side of the line they're standing on.
I guess we start at the end and work our way backwards.
Okay, let's do that.
I'm much more accepting of the Cam York mistake than I am the Owen Tippett mistake. Listen, Cam York I thought played well. He gets the assist on the Michkov goal. It's not like he made a crazy play on it, but he has now been on the ice for 8 of the Flyers' 10 power play goals, has Cam York. He's got, I think, 10 or 11 points in 12 or 13 games. So he's been pretty good for this team. Rough turnover there. Puck kind of handcuffs him. And then 2-on-0 the other way. Nothing much Vladar can do. And it's a tough loss for Dan Vladar, who was awesome tonight.
He deserved better.
But it is the Owen Tippett offside after we had a minor offside controversy in overtime on Saturday with the alleged slight of Matvei Michkov and the frustration that Sean Couturier had. The Flyers appeared to win the game with 23 and a half seconds left. Point shot, drive-by tip in the middle by Travis Konecny for his second point of the game. Coots is in front. Dramatic win, it seemed, or at least the go-ahead goal with about 20 seconds left. But no. Owen Tippett was just standing on the wrong side of the line, and I know we, especially you and I on this show, don't cut Owen Tippett a ton of slack.
Why would we?
But I just, it's mental mistakes more than physical mistakes that give me issue. How are you just standing on the wrong side of the line? I realize we're slowing it down frame by frame, and he's trying to drag his leg, but he's just standing there.
No, the Oiler, was it in overtime? He dragged his leg. Yeah. That's how you stay on side. Owen Tippett was lounging on the wrong side of the blue line. I don't like to call people stupid, especially when I don't know them. But Owen Tippett's brain...
That was a stupid play.
He seems to do it a lot. Like you said, mental mistakes. Like just... Phil Myers level lapses in judgment. I don't understand. Like, you are a very skilled hockey player.
We saw it on his very first shift. He gets post again. And I thought my Owen Tippett question to Charlie was going to be playful. Is Owen Tippett just playing a game of posts and we don't know? He makes a nice outside in move to create a scoring chance for himself on his very first shift, beats Skinner, gets the iron. And it's all right. Like Tocchet said, he's getting chances. They're not going in, but eventually a goal scorer gets enough chances. They go in the net. But this is now, 11 straight without a goal for Owen Tippett, I believe. And that mistake, it's just a stupid little thing, but this is the way the game is now. It literally is a game of centimeters, and you're crossing over, you think, as the puck goes across, but you're not. You beat it, and it wipes out what would have been the probably game-winning goal for the Flyers after they were seriously outclassed through 40 minutes. They give up the first goal again. This is the 10th time through 16 games they have given up the first goal. But you see by the numbers, it was not just the first goal. After the first 5-10 minutes, it was all Edmonton for the first 2 periods. But the Flyers are coming in. They had a 6-11 points percentage when they get scored on first. They were 5-3-1. Now they're 5-3-2, so they get another point. They probably stay over 600, at least in points percentage. But the ability for this team, I guess, inability to start fast, and then ability to completely lock it down in the third period. We saw it against Ottawa. They only surrendered a few shots, and we just saw it again. They give up, 25 shots through 40 minutes, and then 5 in the third to Edmonton, who is, a highly skilled, high-scoring team.
They are pretty good.
They kill both of Edmonton's power plays, but just don't muster enough offense. And when that happens, you put yourself in position for 1 or 2 stupid mistakes to cost them, like happened. Owen Tippett offside, bouncing puck at center ice, bang, you lose.
I mean, I kind of think they started this game pretty good.
They did start
like 5 minutes of the game. They looked good. They had a lot of jump. They were getting shots. Owen Tippett hits the post. Like they looked good to start the game. They just seem to have, when they have these bursts of looking good, which is how it seems to work with this team, just like a burst of good hockey and then long stretches of crap like we saw in the second period. They just don't seem able to like capitalize on these bursts of momentum that they give themselves. They can't put the puck in the net, which is key, I'm told.
It seems important.
Yeah. And that's what's frustrating to me, because like if you're able to get the kind of momentum that the Flyers had at the very beginning of this game, like you got to do something with it. You have to do something with it. And all season long, I feel like they have been unable to capitalize on a lot of the chances that they have when they're really pressing and they're dominating the game, and then they just don't do anything with it.
I do wonder, like, we think of so many posts, near chances, not finishing when they have the chance, especially early in games. I do wonder, like, if it's just so much more amplified because they get so few chances early in games that it's like, dude, you have to score on the one shot you got, Owen Tippett, because it's going to be 40 minutes before the Flyers turn it back on again, as we have seen kind of be the case. But that brings me to tonight's game changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. I do have to say, now there were many turning points in this one, but the real game changer is the first 2 periods of Dan Vladar. He stops 12 of 13 in the first, 12 out of 12 in the second. Flyers had a chance to win this game. It's very disappointing that they did not, especially in the fashion they did not.
Yeah.
But they have no chance if it isn't for Dan Vladar, especially his first period heroics. He does surrender the one. It's, McDavid comes down, short side chance. Puck comes out to him on the other side. He tees up Evan Bouchard, who's one of the best scoring defensemen in the league, and he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Puts it by him. But other than that, he's perfect until overtime. Dan Vladar has been a revelation for this team. I am willing to at least. I know Charlie always does 3 stars all Flyers, but Dan Vladar is absolutely one of the stars of this game, whether you're counting Edmonton players or not. He comes up with 30 saves in the game in over 60 minutes. He was outstanding tonight.
Yeah, and not just a bunch of like easy saves either. Like he was making big saves.
Late.
Yeah, to keep the Flyers in this game, especially in the second period when it was all Oilers for essentially 20 entire minutes. It's very frustrating. Again, just like when you're not capitalizing on the chances that you get, when you have this kind of performance from your goaltender, it's a real shame to waste it with this nonsense.
This is you hear this argument a lot, like in football, like the record shouldn't be on a quarterback. It's a team thing. He could throw for 500 yards and lose the game, and he's the one with a loss. This is the argument against wins and losses going on a goalie's record. Again, it's an overtime loss, but Dan Vladar does not deserve any sort of negative mark for his performance tonight. The game winner, again, like it's a 2-on-0 with just 2 guys playing with him, waiting him out. The pass comes a foot in front of the crease, basically. There's absolutely nothing he can do to stop that. Dan Vladar, now his season save percentage, given my math, .919. He's been so good and absolutely the game changer, because this game's over in the first or halfway through the second, if not for Dan Vladar. It's 4-1, it's 4-0, and we're like getting ready. My headline is already written for postgame.
Even if that Konecny goal had counted, you'd make a strong argument for Vladar to be the #1 star of this game.
I still think it has to go to him because, yes, late heroics often result in, last thing we saw, that's the most important. The play of Vladar throughout this game was stupendous, and I know we've kind of made it a little bit of a joke, like he's chasing the Vezina, but he's Dan Vladar right now. I don't know why we wouldn't have him at least in this early season conversation.
Look, dude, stranger things have happened. Every now and again, there's just a random goaltender that goes on a tear. It was like Stolarz a couple of years ago. Like, just like mediocre journeyman goaltenders every now and again just pop off for absolutely no reason for like one season. And maybe Dan Vladar's that guy this year. I don't know. But if he keeps playing like this, even with the lack of offense and the sometimes suspect defense, although it's been better than I expected, I mean, this team is probably going to make the playoffs on the back of the goaltender.
You see a game like tonight where they do come away with a point and you're disappointed, like, oh, that could have been 2. And in fact, it felt like it was, but it's none. It's no points in the standings, if not for Dan Vladar. And for that, he gets the Elkins Chevrolet game changer together. Let's drive. This thing of falling behind early in games, it's funny because when they've scored early, especially when they've scored like in the first minute or two, I think they're like 0-2-1 in those games. I asked Charlie this, like, is this just early season nonsense? It is nice that they're able to come back and lock it down in the third period, but they have to create some offense in the first 40 if this is going to be a team that's seriously in playoff contention.
Yeah, I think that Tocchet's got to figure out this offense generally. Like, I don't think he's been able to crack it outside of the Cates line, which has obviously been very good. Although tonight, didn't light the world on fire.
They had a tough assignment tonight.
Of course, yeah, they did. They did. Defensively, yes.
And it kind of seemed to go the other way a little bit throughout the game. It was back and forth. And listen, McDavid comes away with the 1 assist on the first goal.
Yeah.
You keep them off the score sheet to the level they can. It's a win, but it doesn't feel like they had that hell yeah performance that we were hoping for.
And I mean, like, Michkov is starting to come on. So, like, this could be the start of maybe this offense turning around. Maybe in 4 or 5 games, we're super psyched about how great everything looks. But it seems like through tonight, Rick Tocchet has not yet put the puzzle pieces together in whatever is the most optimal way to get goals out of this group, because it's just not been good enough. Like, preseason, all we talked about was how bad we thought the defense was going to be and how sus the goaltending looked. But look at the forwards. The forwards look good. You look at those lines. That's not a bad team. The forwards have been like very disappointing overall. And I'm not sure if it's a coaching thing or a combo thing or a player thing. I don't know, but they got to figure it out.
The lines did seem to go into a blender. I'm going to ask Charlie a little bit about that at different points tonight. It does feel like they're close to the right combinations now with Forster back. They can try some different things, but they have to get this offense going a little bit. Yeah. There have been games where they've had possession but haven't really been able to turn it into chances. After the first 10 minutes, they didn't have the puck again until the third period.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Like that's really what happened tonight. It wasn't like, well, they have possession, but they're not getting to the danger. No, they just never had the puck.
Never had.
All right, we're going to talk a little bit more about all this stuff. Charlie is going to join us at some point in the near future, but I got to tell you about Bet365. You know I'm all about the Bet365 early payout offer, and for NHL games, it is a super simple idea. You bet a team on the money line or make them a winner in your parlay, and they earn a 3-goal lead at any point in the game. Could be the first 3 shots go in. Your team's up 3-0. You're a winner. Your straight bets pay out, and your parlay selections are made winners. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Win or lose, all you got to do is sign up, use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now you know what time it is. I love me some Elkins Chevrolet because they are dishing championship-level car deals every single day. Elkins Chevy is located on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. It's run by 3 brothers, Jason, Adam, and Josh. They are in the store every single day, making sure they are putting wins together for their team and that they have a huge lineup of the best priced Chevys. They call it honking good service. I'm just telling you, there's never any missed shots, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like, kind of like the Flyers goalie has been. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honking good service. Shop now at elkinschevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. Yeah, that's the early deficits and locking it down in the third has kind of been the story lately. But this lack of offense is certainly concerning. And I do kind of think it has to come from guys like Owen Tippett who are being counted on. I can forgive a dumb offside even at that point in the game if he had been in the midst of this hot streak.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if he was playing well, if this was the Owen Tippett from the first few games taking a stupid offside, we're going to be like, whatever. But you're making boneheaded mistakes constantly and also doing nothing on the score sheet. I'm not giving you any grace when you go 3 inches offside with 23 seconds left in the game. Like
it is now 10 straight without a goal for Owen Tippett. He has 1 assist in that time. It's just, I have said all along, if he can be dominant in his streaks and just not have the cold streaks be as long as they've been, and other guys have to step up too. But we have Travis Konecny on an 8-game point streak, and he could have had 2 tonight, Matvei Michkov now 3 straight games with a goal. He'll come up in just a couple of minutes. Things are starting to pick up, but you look at the scoreboard, just 1 goal. Guys like Owen Tippett need to come through.
They really do, and it's a real shame that Konechny's goal didn't count because he's another guy. Although I kind of mentioned it to you, I don't know why, and I'm wondering if other fans kind of feel this way. Like, I have been very down on Travis Konecny.
He just hasn't been the catalyst. He hasn't been the same guy.
I don't know if it's like a visual thing, like he doesn't look like the Travis Konecny from last season, but like, he's on an 8-game point streak. What am I mad about? I don't know.
He's not scoring at that 30-goal pace like
it would have been nice if he got
become accustomed to, at least through the first half of last season and the 2 seasons prior to that. And he just hasn't quite looked like that dude. Tonight, he did kind of play that game. He's mixing it up physically. We saw him getting into it with McDavid. He draws that third period penalty as well. He looked like himself, and it looked like it paid off. And that's what makes this so disappointing. Even if they win 2-1 tonight in regulation, they scored 2. Way to go. You had 20 shots on goal. But it just feels a little different, like they're moving towards some of these guys all getting hot at the same time. But instead, we have a 2-1 overtime loss. But I do want to talk about Matvei Michkov, and that brings us to the Ace Hardware Home Services temperature check. Let's take a look at who's heating up or cooling off with our Ace Hardware temp check. Visit Ace Hardware Home Services online at acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next project. It's Mish. He has the goal tonight. He plays 16 minutes, which is higher than his average. That's nice.
That's really good.
Only the 1 shot, but he did look dangerous throughout the game once again. He's really starting to look like himself again. I won't say it's all the way there, but when he was out there with Zegras, there did seem to be that chemistry we've seen. They set each other up a couple of times. Matvei Michkov, 3 straight games with a goal, clearly heating up. And talking about Konecny not looking like himself, Mish does again.
He's starting to look like himself. And the 16 minutes of ice time is encouraging because I know Charlie's been talking about this a lot on the show, that it seemed like even though Michkov seemed to be coming along, the ice time wasn't really increasing, and you're starting to wonder, like, what does he need to do for Tocchet to start putting him out there more? Looks like he's starting to put him out there more. That's really good.
As the lines got shuffled, I have to look at, the actual deployment and when he got his shifts. But it felt like as the lines were getting shuffled, it was to try to find something that would work with Mish because he was creating in the offensive zone. He was getting pucks to dangerous areas. He was finding his teammates with those passes, at least attempting to. And these are great signs. These are great signs for an offense that has been stagnant for much of this year. They've had a couple high shooting percentage games. They have to figure out a way to get more than 18, 20, 21 shots a game.
Yeah.
That will come as I think they take to Rick Tocchet's coaching. They adjust to actually being coached in the offensive zone. But at least the main character, as we have called him since he arrived, looks like the dude that, everyone went out and bought the jersey, Michkov Mania. We put out the T-shirts. It was everything Michkov 24/7 for a year on this show.
Yeah.
And then suddenly some chinks in the armor, wasn't looking great. Out of shape to start the year, disappointing. I even saw a piece, I think, on the Hockey Writers that was It kind of seems sarcastic based on the headline. Like, in order to unite the fan base, increase fan morale, they should trade Michkov. I think it might have been sarcastic, but still a ridiculous premise regardless. We can all maybe take a breath that at least number 39 is himself again.
He does seem to be looking like himself, and that is good. What if being coached in the offensive zone is bad? Have we considered this? Maybe there should be no coaching.
Maybe I've advocated for quite a while, no coaches on the bench. If you want to have
upstairs,
if you want to have coordinators upstairs, they can come down, they can yell at you in between periods, they can show you film. No one on the bench.
Earpiece in Coots' ears.
Everyone knows when to get on and get off the ice.
That's true. They do know.
I've played in plenty of men's league games. Everyone, takes a normal shift. No, that's not true. Guys, just stay out there for 5 minutes. But I am encouraged that Matvei Michkov is heating up, because as this season goes, we'll see if they stay in like legitimate playoff contention, or this is just, hey, everyone's about 500 in the East. So yeah, Florida was in last place a couple of weeks ago. We'll see, but at least they have that guy going. And we're going to do things a little differently, because we're going to hit our second break of the night, because Charlie's going to join us on the other side. Wow. Listen, now more than ever, you got to have Xfinity. It is the ultimate sports destination. There's never any lagging. There's no buffering, no switching between a million different apps. It's just all your favorite teams and all the best games all in one place. And with that enhanced 4K picture and sound, it's so clear you feel like you're at the game. And you can even watch up to 4 at once with the multi-view and get live notifications and stats right on your TV. There is no platform that comes close to Xfinity when it comes to sports. So next game day, be a big fan, not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. And now I have to tell you about Crooked Tea, baby, because everybody's got their favorite hard tea. It's the hot thing right now. But have you ever turned your hard tea of choice around to read what's in the can? Well, usually you can't, because they won't tell you. And while others hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about it, because Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time you're at the store, flip the can. If you can't find the ingredients, put it back on the shelf and grab a Crooked Tea. Zero sugar, real tea, fully transparent. Real Philly. Why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better? It's a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. And now, speaking of Xfinity, we are joined on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line by Charlie O'Connor, live at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Charlie, what'd you think of that one?
Well, I mean, I feel like if we're going to talk about something, you got to talk about the overturned goal, because that's the game right there. I mean, that's the game, and you can't say anything other than I don't know what Owen Tippett was doing on that play. Like, that's about all I can say. And look, I'm sure he knows he made a mistake. It's not like you're going to need to start chewing him out in front of the group for him to feel bad. I'm sure he feels terrible, but you just need to be smarter. You need to be smarter. Like, compare that to the controversial overtime offside that sparked the whole Michkov Couturier thing. Like, that is a play where Michkov is going east-west. And you know what? Like, that happens. In this play, Konecny is going straight forward. He's not slowing down. He's not hesitating. He's not making moves laterally. He's just going straight in. And there is no reason why you should be offside on that play. I guess in a little bit of his defense, I tend to be opposed to the idea. Like, my view is that if you score right off the entry, then sure, that should be challengeable. But if you have the puck for a bit and then you score, like, honestly, do a better job of defense. That's what I think the rule should be. But that's not what the rule is. And given the circumstances, like, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. You got to be patient. You got to have focus. And Tippett lost focus. And it would be more forgivable, I feel like, if he was producing, but he's not producing right now. And the sad part is he makes a really good play after the entry to get the puck up to the point. He circles around the entire offensive zone, gets the puck up to the point, they score. Would have been one of those like, wow, great job by Owen Tippett coming through. Instead, he's the GOAT and not the good GOAT. the bad goat.
The old school version of goat.
Also,
yeah.
The old school version of goat.
The league shouldn't be able to call down and be like, it was offsides. If Chris Knobloch doesn't see it and he doesn't challenge it, then that's his problem. I don't think the league should be able to be like, oh, wait a minute, guys.
I know the Danny Briere play in 2012 wasn't the impetus for the rule, but I wonder if someone was to propose to him, would you give that back and potentially lose that game 1 against Pittsburgh in order for this to no longer be a rule if he would do it? Anyway, I thought my question about Tippett tonight was going to be playful. Like, is he playing a game of posts? Because he found iron again tonight. But it's just a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Something else I wanted to bring up, Charlie, because yeah, it's been cool to watch the Flyers come back and lock games down defensively in the third period and force overtime. That's always fun, right? But in 16 games now, they've given up the first goal 10 times. What is it about this team that they seem to ease their way into games, or even tonight where they have jumped for the first 10 minutes, it's still they're trailing most of the way?
Yeah, I think you're not going to get a good answer from me on this one because my answer is going to be small sample size, random variance. I really don't think there's anything to the like, well, they give up the first goal a lot. Like, what'd you say? It was 10 out of 16 times?
Yeah.
So that means that if they would have scored one more, one more goal, 2 more goals, that it would be 50-50. Like, I don't think there's that much there. Like, they need to score more goals. That's the problem. The offense hasn't been good enough, and that's why they're not scoring the first goal all that often, because they're just not scoring that many goals. They need to score more goals. They need to get more shots. They need to create more chances. And you saw that like the entirety of the second period, basically in this game, where they pretty much didn't have the puck the first, 14 minutes of the period. Those are the things that need to be resolved. They need to stop having these long stretches where they never have the puck. But I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with their ability to get or not get the first goal. I think that's probably more variance than anything else.
All right, that's fair. I know it's 16 games, but it just keeps happening. The thing that stands out to me is they're 5-3-2. They have a 600 points percentage when they give up the first goal. So maybe it's part of the strategy. Who knows? Outside of Dan Vladar, and I'm sure he'll come up during Stars, Charlie, the guy I feel worst for tonight is maybe Cam York, because I really liked York's game and he gets the assist. He's now been on the ice for 8 of the Flyers' 10 power play goals. It's not like he made a crazy play, but it just seems like you put him on a power play unit. They switch the guys to try to get the other one going. It works. Outside of the play that ends the game, what did you think of York tonight?
I liked his game, but I pretty much liked all of his games. I think he's been good almost every time he's played. His numbers are great. He's scoring more points. He's been really good on the power play. I kind of have this idea in my head that every time he gets a power play point, he just says in his head, F you, Torts, because Torts obviously refused to play him on the power play last year. The overtime mistake, like, look, I'm not going to give York as much grief as I give Tippett for his mistake, because the York play, like, that's just a physical mistake. And sometimes, you whiff on a pass. Obviously, ideally, you wouldn't do it, but it happens. It's hockey. The Tippett one gets me more annoyed because that's just a brainless mistake. That's like you just got to be more focused. The York mistake, whatever, but I thought the rest of the game, York was good. What I really liked about York, sorry, I got distracted because above me there's a television playing Madden. I don't know. But anyway.
Is it AJ Brown putting up big stats again?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What I liked about York's work on that power play, the power play that scores the game-tying goal, it's that this is a situation, and number one, I think that unit, the Michkov Konecny unit, has been way too pass happy. They've been trying to create the perfect shot all too often, and it's often resulted in them getting 0 shots. So number one, I think they need to be a little bit more shot first, a little bit more selfish. Number two, and this is the big thing, when you get a power play after the other team's goalie has seen 2 shots in the last 20 minutes, you got to go into that power play with a shot mentality. And I love that York gets the puck up top and he just fires away. Now it's not what leads to a goal, but it sets the mentality of the unit. Okay, we're shooting. we're shooting on this guy. We're just going to get pucks on that. We're going to see what happens because he's probably a little rusty. He's probably a little cold. Hasn't had a lot of work for the last period. Let's see if he can stop a puck. And I like the fact that York set the standard early in that power play that, like, now we're getting pucks to the net on this power play. And then obviously Michkov scores the game tying goal with another just like great shot by Michkov. But obviously that's a, like, I'm shooting to get some puck on this guy because I want to see if this goalie can actually remembers how to stop a puck if they're not having to face shots for a period.
Yeah, that's why I feel bad. Is like my question about York until that was going to be like, he just feels so much more confident with the puck early in that power play. He has like a pretty hot pass that he keeps. Like it was trickier than it looked. I feel like he just feels like he's really taking his game to another level. So I feel legitimately bad for him that he's kind of one of the people who leads to it. But like you said, you're basically repeated what we said. I can forgive physical mistakes because they happen. That's a tough play. Sometimes it goes wrong. Being offside is unforgivable. But you mentioned Matvei Michkov scoring, Charlie. Do you think the celebration was sufficient?
I don't think he looked happy enough.
It seemed okay. The celebration seemed better than the one that had everybody losing their minds on Saturday.
One-armed hugs.
It wasn't sufficiently exuberant to end all of that ridiculous talk, but it was definitely better than the one on Saturday. So maybe it quiets it a bit.
Do you think he's looking more and more like himself? Like this is pretty close to Michkov?
Yeah, he's starting to look more and more like the guy from last year. Now, obviously, we want to see him be better than the guy from last year. But at this point, I'll take rookie year Michkov over what we've seen from him over the first month of the season. He's, he almost tries in Michigan. He's making really good passes again. The confidence seems there. He has the nice power play goal where I always love on a power play when a guy takes a shot skating downhill. I just think you get more power into the shot, and I think it threatens goalies more. I think it's just a different mentality when a guy is shooting while skating forward rather than just stopped. I just think goalies are like, ooh, what's he going to do? He could do a lot of different things. Whereas if he's just standing in one spot, there's fewer options. So I love that for Michkov. He just seems like a more confident player. He certainly seems quicker. So I believe he's rapidly getting into better shape. Yeah, Michkov's playing well. The minutes aren't maybe where people want them to be, but he did get more minutes than Owen Tippett. So at least people can't yell like, well, he's giving Owen Tippett minutes. Well, he gave Michkov more than Tippett today.
He played more than Tippett, and that's all we can ask for at this point. One more, and then we'll get to stars, I think, Charlie, because we're gonna have a lot to say about Dan Vladar when his name inevitably comes up. I know, like the slow start, like they're not scoring first. Yeah, maybe that's just weird variance, but this thing that they're doing where they give up a ton of shots, or at least a lot, like through 40 minutes, it's 25. And then once again in the third, they give up almost nothing. 5 shots against in the third. Are they like defending differently late in games, or just the message finally sinks through after a couple of intermissions? Are they doing anything differently in these third periods that they do the first 40 minutes that you go, oh, that's how they have to play?
Well, I think what's probably happening is the Flyers go through long stretches in a game where they're not doing what Tocchet wants them to do system-wise because they're learning a new system and they're still in the maybe not beginning stages, but still in the building stage of knowing all the ins and outs of like what to do given this read, what to do in this situation. And then whether it's the first intermission, whether it's the second intermission, Tocchet probably does some remedial work with them, re-emphasizes certain points, and then they go out in the third and they correct their mistakes and they do better. Like that's probably what's going on here. You just ideally hope that 2-3 months down the road they don't need a second period fixing session before you do that. Hopefully you're doing that from the jump and you sustain that the entire game. But I think that's probably what's going on here, because it's more like they're making the adjustments, and that's good. You'd rather there not be any need for adjustments in the first place because they're doing the right thing from the jump and sustaining it the entire game. That's clearly not there yet.
All right, Charlie, it is time for Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars of the game. Hit us with tonight's 3rd star.
Third star, I'm going to go with Travis Konecny. Scores the sort of game winner, not really. But I thought he was good in this game. I thought he was active. He gets a secondary assist on the Michkov power play goal. Obviously, nearly scores the game winner. Really, no fault of his own. Like that play would have happened the exact same way had Owen Tippett had his skates just a little bit further back. So it's almost one of those plays where it's like, yeah, it's not a real goal, but it might as well be because Travis Konecny did everything he was supposed to do, everything right on that play. So in my mind, that's Travis Konecny goal that just didn't count because Owen Tippett messed up. Konecny, I thought was making really good passes in this game. I thought he was playing with jump. I love that the penalty he draws. He probably should have also gotten called for a penalty on that one. But hey, you know what? You're battling with a guy in the corner. The guy holds you a little bit, and then you try to draw a penalty. Well done, Travis Konecny. I thought strong game by him. And quietly, and I know some people will be like, well, there's empty net goals in there, but he is on a nice little run of points. And Travis Konecny, his job is to score points, and he's doing it. So there's that.
That's what I wanted to ask about TK is he's on an 8-game point streak. Even with the goal wiped away tonight, he gets an assist. And listen, it's a power play assist that's comes well before, but like it counts. That's how guys get on these streaks like this, getting those cheap ones. And he basically scored the game winner, even though it didn't count. Despite the streak, it feels like he, like we've said about Michkov, just doesn't look like himself. Tonight felt like the most TK game, mixing it up with McDavid, drawing that penalty, getting in on the forecheck, getting to the center of the ice to get that tip for what should have been the game winner. Do you think he's starting to really just like be TK again?
Yeah, I do. Because I was never that like with Konecny, it was a little bit different than Michkov. Because I do feel a similar way about Michkov in that I wasn't worried that he wasn't going to get going at some point. It was just like it's a bummer because I thought this could have been a breakout season for him, and instead he's starting the season behind the 8 ball. With Konecny, it was annoying that he wasn't off to the best start, but I never was worried that he just like forgot how to score goals and produce points. Like he's still in his, maybe he's a little bit on the older end of his prime, but he's still in his prime. I'm not at the point where I'm expecting a dramatic age-related drop-off. I just think he got off to a little slow start. And now he's getting rolling, and as long as he stays healthy, because that's always a concern with Konecny, he can get banged up. As long as he stays healthy, I think he's going to produce well the rest of the way. And I agree. Tonight wasn't just he got a point game. It was he was legitimately impressive game by Travis Konecny.
Who is star number 2?
Yeah, star number 2 is Matvei Michkov. Strong all-around performance. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Obviously, he scores the Flyers. Ultimately, their only goal that counted. But it wasn't just the goal. This wasn't the Nashville game where, he scores a goal, but otherwise you're like, well, he got a goal, and then he had a bunch of other shifts where he didn't do crap. No, Michkov was good in this game. He was legitimately very good. He looked, I would say, close to start to finish, like the guy from his rookie year. Still turning pucks over a little bit too much, still getting knocked off pucks a little bit much for my liking, but he's real close. And now we're talking about he's now 90% of what he was last year, and that guy's still a really, really good player, and now you're actively looking forward to his shifts again rather than being like, oh man, I hope he can turn this around. Yeah, he's turning this around. I think we can stop worrying about whether Michkov's going to finish the season with 40 points. That ain't happening.
We said this before you joined about Mish. What I liked, it's 16 minutes. It's not 19, but it's a start. And when the lines start getting shuffled halfway through the game and through the third, it felt like Tocchet was looking for something that would work with him rather than I guess I got to get him out there every now and then because, we're not going to play the fourth line a ton. It felt like he recognized it, and that's a great sign. Finally, tonight's first star.
Who could it be?
Yeah, first star is Dan Vladar. It is. And I will say that a couple guys in the room and the coach actually said they had a lot of shots, but it wasn't a ton of grade A's. And that's true. The Flyers did keep him to the outside, especially in that second period when they barely had the puck. They kept him to the outside a lot. But Vladar still had to make a bunch of legitimately tough saves, especially in the beginning of the game when it was more of a freewheeling, fast-paced game. They were flying around. I thought in the first period, Vladar was fantastic. And then in the second period, they were keeping him to the outside. But Vladar had to be focused all the time because the Flyers never had the puck, especially in the first 15 minutes of that period, and Vladar didn't crack. He stood tall, and the game winner, like, it's a 2-on-0. He's not stopping that one. Hard to blame him even a little bit for that. Vladar was great, and you're just coming to expect him to be great. Like, this is now the norm, is that he's just going to go out there, he's going to give the team a chance to win, and he's going to finish with good numbers. And he did it yet again tonight. Easy call for first star of the game.
Dan Vladar. It is it's happening, Charlie. The Vezina campaign is on for Dan Vladar. All right, that is Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. We will talk again. Do we have a show tomorrow? Is that what's going on?
We do not.
No, we don't. We'll talk again, like next time they play. Friday. Back-to-backs Friday, Saturday. I'll see you then, my friend.
All right. Bye, gang.
All right. That was Charlie O'Connor's 3 stars, and that was Charlie O'Connor.
You know what I'm hearing? That much like the room hates Matvei Michkov, the room hates Dan Vladar. Just like knocking down his accomplishments.
I did.
We kept them to the outside for you, Dan. You didn't really do anything. That's what I'm hearing.
Like, I mean, okay, in the second period, sure, all right. That first period was back and forth, even before Edmonton really took over. Like, Flyers first few shifts, and then it was back and forth hockey.
Yeah, it sure was.
And the next thing you know, it was like, shots are like 5-3 Flyers, shots are 5-5, shots are 10-5.
Yeah.
And like, I hadn't even realized
didn't get a shot again for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and then the Flyers didn't touch the puck until like halfway through the second. It was just that was a great game by the goaltender.
He was outstanding.
They lose 4-0 if he isn't on his A game in that one. All right, let us take our final break, and then we will do a couple other things in Super Chats.
Yay.
You know I love telling you about this one because I cannot wait for the PHLY and Philly Sports Trips California takeover. We're headed out west, baby. That's right. PHLY and Philly Sports Trips are taking a huge group of Flyers fans to see the Ducks in Anaheim, to see the Kings in LA for a watch party of the Sharks game. And we're not going alone. We're going with John LeClair, baby. It is going to be out freaking standing March 17th to the 22nd. Book your trip now. Your package includes, there's all sorts of different levels, all sorts of different payment options, but it can include optional round-trip direct flight from Philly, a 5-night stay at the beautiful Sanborn Santa Monica, group tickets to both games, so you're going to be sitting with a huge group of Flyers fans, the watch party for the Sharks game, and an exclusive meet and greet with number 10, John LeClair himself. Plus, the Philly Sports Trips crew will be there to handle every detail, so you can just enjoy the sun, the sights, and the hockey. This is the California vacation every Flyers fan dreams of. So go right now. Spots are limited. Book your trip at allphly.com/events. You are not going to want to miss this. It's going to be awesome. The Ducks are pretty damn good. Cutter Gauthier, last I looked, was leading the league in goals.
We don't talk about them.
We're gonna want to make sure we don't forget, despite how good that team might be. And now, got to tell you about Monarch, because listen, you never want financial opportunities to slip through the cracks. I'm telling you about a trip in mid-March that, it might put a little dent, but you want to go on it. You're having fun. You're making money. You want to make sure you're making the most of your money. And the way to do that, it is with Monarch, because you never leave anything on the table with Monarch. It's built for people with busy lives, and it shows you exactly where you could be saving more, where you're spending too much, where you could be maybe moving some things around. It links all your accounts for you. It does all the heavy lifting. You'll never have to create another spreadsheet again. And that's why it's been named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY. All right, how many super chats do we have? Because we have like 15 minutes left. All right, we got a little bit of time. I would love, Kelly, if this team could win a faceoff.
Ooh.
They were 32.7% tonight, 16 of 49, and that was like after they made a little comeback in this thing. I think they won 5 of the first 20, or 5 of the first 25, something like that. Take a wild guess, and I know I have it on the outline, so
I can make a great guess.
Take a wild guess who led the team in faceoff percentage tonight.
Was it Nick Seeler?
It was Trevor Zegras.
What?
Now, he was 2 of 4.
I mean, that is 50.
The leader in the clubhouse was 50%. The Flyers got dominated in the face-off circle, and it really showed itself, I thought,
What's the deal?
on some of the power plays. Now, yeah, they do score a power play goal, but they get the late opportunity. They can't win that first draw. And these are the things, this is where it kills you. I think face-offs overall can be an overrated stat.
It's a possession.
You're seeing it, you're seeing this team unable to have possession and get shots, especially through the first 40 minutes of games. Perhaps if you started a sequence with the puck, it would be much easier to advance the puck up ice and perhaps get a shot on goal that could maybe beat a goalie.
So, Bill, I've never played the game like you have.
Sure.
Face-offs seem like a fundamental skill. Like something that you learn very early, that you practice quite a lot, something that a professional hockey player who is, the top 1% of the sport would be able to do
At least at a break-even rate.
At least break-even. I don't understand how no one on this team can win a face-off except for Sean Couturier.
I'll never question Coots' face-off ability, and it is pretty tough out there with superstar centers like the Oilers have. But he's at 39% tonight. Dvorak's at 33. Cates is at 30, under 31. Like, that's not going to get it done. We've talked, like, does Zegras need to be Couturier 55, 60%? No, but we need him near 50. Like if he's going to be a center, he can't be at his career 43. I'm looking at a team that didn't win 40% of their faceoffs tonight. They didn't win 35% of their faceoffs, and that's just another thing. When you don't have the talent, you need to win on the margins. It just feels like that's one of them things that you could be a little better at. They get Dvorak to try to have another center who can win them a face-off. It has been an issue basically since Claude Giroux left. But his percentage, okay, so he's 54% this season. He has been good. But he got his ass kicked tonight, as did everybody, not named Trevor Zegras, who only took 4.
Remember that time that the Flyers had to practice line changes?
Yeah.
Maybe they need to practice zone entries and faceoffs.
I would honestly, I've heard stories, and Bobby Clark's like 100 now, but I've heard stories like not that long ago where he would show up to the training center and be like, "Guess what, boys? I'm gonna give you a little tutorial on the faceoffs." And listen, we've had some pretty good face-off guys here over the years who probably benefited from at least the passing down of that knowledge.
Sure.
But it is really a hole in the Flyers game. We know they're not going to out-talent most teams.
No.
But this is, yes, there is an element of stick work, puck handling, quick hands.
Sure.
But I don't know, when Noah Cates is just getting his ass kicked so bad that he starts the third period by taking a high stick, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to try to go right at McDavid's body and hits him in the face. Like, this is an unacceptable number, 32.7.
It's pretty bad. It just seems like some of them you just got to win by luck, right? Like some of it just got to be bounces in the right direction. And these guys can't even seem to get that to happen.
Like when we were talking about Zegras needing to go from like 42 or 43 to like 47, it was, I feel like they whiff on 1 out of 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you just go, oh, you missed. And it's been an issue, and it really showed itself tonight. It was, I think, a big part of why they just could not touch the puck for a lot of this game. I was
just gonna say it just seems to me like a teachable skill that a professional hockey player should be able to get better at. Like there's certain things you just can't get better at. Like some guys are good and some guys are not.
No Cates never gonna score 30 goals.
That's the thing. Some guys are really good, smooth skaters. Some guys are not. Some of those things you can improve, but that just seems like a skill, like playing like with the shooter tutor or something. It just seems like a thing that you can practice over and over and over again until you're good at it.
I just feel like maybe at this point and listen, they do have Coots, who's usually good. Dvorak's been well over 50 this year.
Yeah.
Maybe there are situations, I'm just thinking of guys who come away with pucks and puck battles, have good hands. Like, could Bobby Brink take a couple? Like, he comes away, he's really good in puck battles.
That's true.
Matvei Michkov has really good hands. Maybe he can win one. And we're asking guys to do things outside of like what there is to do, but I'm trying to come up with solutions
Positionless
here.
hockey, baby.
Positionless hockey. If zegras can play center without taking faceoffs, maybe we can have wingers who do take them.
Why not?
I'm just trying to come up with a solution here, because that 32.7% tonight, that is after they were at like 2% for most of the game.
Not gonna work.
All right, let's hit super chats, and if there's any time left, we'll talk about something else.
Read them slow.
We always have a bunch of these, and as we start, more people send them. So let's start with our old pal JH. Kicks it off tonight. What do you realistically think Danny Briere can get for the worst? Ginger asking for a friend. The friend is me. I believe he's talking about Owen Tippett.
Nothing?
Right now, I'm sure there's... In November, trades are really hard to make. Owen Tippett is a good enough hockey player that if the day comes, they decide to trade him. I know how you're looking at me right now.
I'm just thinking.
Like, if the day comes where you trade him, even if it's like him and other stuff, it's like the Joffrey Lupul thing, and I don't think they're getting Chris Pronger. I'm just saying him and a few other things gets you something you really need.
Right.
You can't just dump Owen Tippett. I know you look at the long-term contract. I know he basically loses the game for them tonight. I know we're all frustrated with Owen Tippett. I just know that there's a better hockey player in there, and I can't give that away. So what could you get for him right now? I have
Nothing.
No freaking idea.
Right. You can't trade him right now.
No, you also don't trade a guy in the middle of a 10-game goalless drought.
Yeah.
Unless someone like...
He was like crap. Like, everyone just saw him standing still offside for no reason. Like, you're calling around. They're going to be like, I don't want that dude.
Maybe if I was an analytically inclined GM like Tulsky, I see a guy with at least 25.
I'm going to tell you what, Tulsky might be looking at Owen Tippett and being like, nice contract, you dummies. Because I don't know. I don't know about Owen Tippett anymore.
I'm looking at a guy with at least 25 goal potential. We think he's got 30 goal potential.
I would like to.
I don't know what you think.
I believed that for a time.
And I'd be like,
with every passing day, William, it becomes less and less.
I'd be like, you know what? He hasn't scored in 10 straight. He's probably due. Now might be the time. And like, if we can coach him up and get him in a shot-based offense where he's just firing from everywhere, maybe he could find that.
I just need him to be a little less chill. Amp it up a little bit, bud.
That 5,
too chill.
There's what? 5 goals in the first 6 games feel like so long
100 years ago.
All right, next one here from JH is just shoot.
They really do need to be shooting more.
While I do believe a lot of this season, and Charlie said, like, especially that Michkov power play unit, they've just been a little pass happy. They've gotten possessed. Tonight was a night where they didn't have the puck until the 3rd period.
Yeah.
It was the first 10 minutes and then some of the 3rd. Like, outside of that, what's the goalie going to shoot? I mean, maybe. It's if in any town, it could be this one. But the only Flyer who had the puck for any amount of time for a large majority of this game was Dan Vladar. So I don't know if tonight's they got to shoot more night, and it's like they got to win some faceoffs, win some puck battles, and like string together 3 passes every now and then. I was going to say,
like, possess the puck for some length of time. Yeah.
It was a rough night for a lot of that, at least for most of the first and all of the second. All right, next one here from David Shub. Extend Vladdy.
Let's go.
I was thinking this during the game.
Oh?
I bet he's mad he signed a 2-year contract.
He probably is.
Like, he's probably like,
I wanted a 1 year.
Like, damn. Like, he wanted somewhere where he could, like, maybe win the starter's job, and guess what? You have. And, like, really put down roots and feel like he's settled. There's not, rookie Dustin Wolf coming up behind him. So he signs the 2-year deal. But if I'm him, I'm like, yo, if I had the 1 year and I'm eligible for an extension, I think when you sign a 1-year deal, you can't sign it till January 1st. Like, you can't sign a guy at 1 and then extend him right away. Right. I think it's January, maybe the 1st. I'm like, I could hold this team over a barrel. Yeah. They don't have another goalie. Kolosov? Like, oh, yeah, the guy who, like, forced his way to an .860 save percentage last year. Airson, who's hurt all the time. But I'm glad it was a 2-year because, thank God, we'd be without a goalie. We'd be looking again this offseason. All right, next one here from Ray Hanstein.
Oh, front of the pod.
Hello from Wisconsin. Oh, what's up? Yeah, long time, no chat. Went to Lambeau Monday. The place is wild. Come visit. Go Birds. Excellent shirt, Bill. This team isn't perfect, but I'll see you on Broad Street soon. I have been to Wisconsin, but it was Milwaukee. I went for... I've told the story a million times. I went to Milwaukee during the 2010.
Oh, that's right.
The comeback against the Bruins in Game 1 against Montreal.
I went to Wisconsin
I liked it.
Once.
It was nice. The Miller was super fresh. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
You could still smoke in the TGI Fridays at Miller Park.
That's
and
beautiful.
That was insane at the time. But maybe we will one day. It would be cool if like Milwaukee had a hockey, like an NHL team. That would be cool.
I don't know anything about Milwaukee.
I don't know. It's like a city, right? They're expanding. They got to get something. There's going to be 50 teams one day. All right. From Mellerman 4 joins us. Reviews should be normal speed, no more slow motion. Yeah, I do. I have this tangent all the time. Sports were never meant to be seen in 4K, HD, super slow-mo. Like, technology has advanced beyond the rules of sports. Every sport. I think we are just, oh yeah, man, like everything's kind of a vibes area play. And now we have to get it right. And with legalized gambling, obviously we have to get everything right. So I hate offside review. I hate offside, quite honestly. I just don't think it should be a rule. Who cares?
Why do we have offside?
How did that affect the play in any way?
It didn't.
No, and like people are always, I don't want to see guys just cherry picking.
Why not?
What coach in the history of the NHL would ever be like, Michkov, I'm going to have you go stand in the slot and we're going to play 5-on-4? Because that would never be, the most progressive coach would never come up with that strategy. Exactly. The guy who it might be doesn't exist, and that guy still wouldn't do it.
No.
Like, I just don't understand the need for offside. Let's slow the game down. Let's have more stoppages. Why?
It's good when you take goals away.
Yeah, it's excellent when you take
game.
goals away. People love that. It's their favorite. All right, next one here is, I have no idea what that says. Scheiserheiser. I like that, actually.
That was a good job.
How many mental lapses can someone make before we start to use the term low hockey IQ? That's exactly what Tippett is, in my opinion.
I think we started.
I would say he is not a high IQ player.
No.
I have trouble. I mean, we did say it all the time about Phil Myers.
Yeah.
And you did make the Phil Myers reference. Like, you could see him thinking. That's the difference.
Well, here's the thing. Phil Myers would get to the right conclusion. He just took like 3 minutes
just like
to
you
get
saw
there.
steam coming off the top.
Yeah, you could see the wheels turning, and it was taking too long.
Tippett is just kind of like a go a million miles an hour guy, and a lot of times it's like, you did the wrong thing.
Yeah. I don't know if Tippett is thinking at all. And a lot of times that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of times they shouldn't think at all, ever.
Can only hurt the club. Have you ever heard a lot of these guys speak?
Yeah, don't think. But Tippett sometimes needs to think a little bit about what he's doing and not doing. He needs to not do something.
I will say, outside of a couple lapses early in the season, and like a lot of them came during his hot streak, so I don't care.
Yeah.
He has cut down on those this year. Perhaps as the coaching begins to take effect, we will see him learn from a guy who's actually going to teach him to play in the zone that he is most interested in playing in.
I'm doing recency bias.
This is my optimism, and I'm just trying not to like. I don't know if I'm qualified to call a guy low hockey IQ, but if I was, I would probably categorize him as that. He's very talented. I wish he would make better decisions.
He's not Sean Couturier.
He is not. He is not Coots. He's not Michkov. That is very obvious. All right, from RTS 70. I haven't seen anything in Grubenkin's game other than some rookie mistake that warrants playing anyone on the fourth line over him.
We didn't talk about the fourth line.
Yeah, that's not something that came up yet. It was something I did want to discuss. You are
correct.
We talked pregame a little bit about this. It seems like Tocchet has a thing of play a few, now go watch, we'll go over some film, and then I'll get you back in there. I wouldn't be shocked if Grubenkin is back in there on Friday.
I mean, why wouldn't he be? What are you going to play Nick Deslauriers for 5 minutes again? What's the point of that?
Yeah, that's the thing is, and we talked about this. I don't even know if it was the on-air conversation, but all right, yeah, like the forwards get through healthy tonight, but you know, a game like a few nights ago, you lose Tyson Forster.
Yeah,
and then if you have the fourth line of Hathaway, Deslauriers, Abels, like all right, Hathaway's part of the PK, he gets out there.
Yeah.
Deslauriers plays under 7 minutes. Abels plays 6:21. You're kind of handicapping yourself.
Well, that's the thing, but like because you're not going to play Nick Deslauriers for more than 5 minutes because
did have some shifts in the third.
Love him. He's not good at hockey, and everybody knows it. He knows it. So that means now that you're handicapping Obels. Is he like going to light the world on fire? No, but he might be able to do something, but you can't play him because he's with Nick Deloria.
And we did see Abels, while it's preseason and the matchups, it's not the highest level of competition. We did see a guy who could do some stuff when he had other line mates in the preseason, and now it's very much that line gives you nothing. They still have not accounted for a goal yet this year. They didn't get scored on in this game is the best thing you can say about them. And the other day, Tocchet said you want your fourth line to be even. I suppose at least they were even tonight.
I mean, wow, way to aim high.
I know, Kelly, I know.
I just wish that they would put that fourth line together and see if you could make a functional hockey line.
And with that, before we wrap, we go to overtime. Go to allphly.com to continue watching. Sometimes we try to replicate it, but you did it
the other day. It was good.
All right. Next one here from Obi-Wan. It's just an angry, sad face. That is very much when they get the goal overturned. It was very much like, oh, what are you going to beat McDavid 3-on-3?
No.
Then they survived the McDavid-Draisaitl shift, and then immediately, But as soon as the goal is overturned, you knew how that one was going.
Yep.
So angry, sad face. It is apt in this one. And finally, from Justified EDC, he says, pain, perhaps even suffering.
It's what we do.
I will say, and I brought this up on, I guess, yesterday's show. I got that tweet that was like mad about the Ottawa game. Like, one of the worst losses I've ever seen, all this. And I love that.
Yeah.
I love that we care about the results of games as much as we do this year. Because, I was on the other side of what they should do for the rebuild and try to, get top 5 picks a few years in a row and all that stuff. But then the games happen and you watch 82 of them and you're like, all right, we'll do tankathon starting in January, I guess. It is nice to care about the results of games. So while it is pain and even perhaps suffering tonight, I think that beats apathy.
It really does. It comes from a little bit of love in your heart for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Once again, the bar is in hell. All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following us right here on YouTube. Make sure you're following us on all the socials. We are at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. You don't have to put up the graphic, but you see the thing. You see the thing right there where you can subscribe and like pay a little extra to join the subscribers, to join the supporters club. I just filmed cribs. Oh, there it is. Look how good Brenna is. I just filmed a PHLY cribs of my home studio. Brenna was editing it earlier, and I heard quite a few laughs. It's very stupid and funny, but you should check it out.
Yeah.
Sign up right there. Follow the podcast as well wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That is it for us. I am Bill Matz. That is Kelly Hinkle. Till next time, be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.